You are not creating short form content. You are creating very long form content. And in our current modern way of consuming information and attention span deficits, your repetitive vocal melodies place additional demands on attention and processing. Welcome to the Foster Your Voice podcast with me, Kristi Foster. After a 30-year career in music and theater, I never imagined I'd be coaching trial attorneys. But once I entered your world, I quickly realized how critical and underutilized voice is in the courtroom. The truth is, you don't win trials with brute strength. You win with your voice. I'll give you tools to unlock your voice so you can communicate not just with purpose, but on purpose. If you want quick action tips to help you stay calm and in control, keep jurors engaged, and inspire your listeners to action, all through the power of your voice, you're in the right place. I'm Kristi Foster, and I'm here to help you foster your voice. Hello, Foster fam. Hey, welcome back to Foster Your Voice podcast. I'm, of course, your host, Kristi Foster. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you'll know that I'm in my sporty spice era. In fact, I should have put on some team gear today. I didn't grow up playing any sports. We were a piano lessons and youth group kind of family. So, to find myself, I'll say it, completely obsessed with following sports now in my 50s. It's kind of crazy. I just marvel really at all the life lessons that I'm learning now that I missed out on learning because I didn't play a team sport growing up. There is a lot of crossover of lessons that are also found in putting together theater productions and the team qualities of that. But I have just really, had my eyes opened to the mental toughness and the resiliency that athletes have developed. I really admire that. I see it in cycling, which I have followed for about 20 plus years. And then in the last couple of years, I see it in basketball and hockey that I've kind of taken up now. But my favorite is NFL football. And it's football season, baby. We're back. Well, technically, as a time of recording this, it's just preseason. But we'll be into the full season in just a couple weeks, and I'm ready for it. Okay, so I have to know, what are your teams? Do you have a loyalty to one, or maybe you have a loyalty to a couple? I'm, of course, a Seahawks fan. I grew up in Seattle, and so they've just always been my team and my primary team, I'll say. And so I'm cheering them on, and hopefully they'll have a repeat of the Super Bowl. So email me or send me a DM to just let me know who you're rooting for this season, and then I'll be thinking of you every time I watch games. And I watch a lot of games. I watch 4 or 5 a week. So I'd love to have you in mind as I'm watching as well. Now, with the regular season fast approaching, I wanted to share some of the insights from, well, arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks of our generation, Tom Brady. Love him or hate him, you probably had a reaction when I said his name, but love him or hate him, he does have a legacy of success that's fueled by a winning mentality that I know I can learn from, and I think it has benefit for you as well. So a couple months ago, he was on the New Heights podcast. It's hosted by Jason and Travis Kelce. These are big names in the NFL world if you're not a sports person. I've linked the excerpt in the show notes for you to check it out. But now, even though I am, I think, a massive NFL fan and watch, like I said, 4 or 5 games a week during the season, I don't really have a good mind for all the stats and all the rivalries and who's in what conference. I just love watching and learning from the athlete mindset and the winning mentality. So I didn't know that during Tom's college career that he spent 3 years at Michigan not playing. Well, I didn't know he went to Michigan in the first place, let's be honest. But in the podcast episode, he talks about how easy it is for blamers mindset to creep in and how he always had an excuse. Coach doesn't want me here. They're not giving me the opportunities. Finally, it was actually a sports psychologist for the team who kind of laid into him and said, how about you start worrying about what you control? Stop talking about the coaches or the other players and just start taking advantage of the opportunities you do get. Do the best with what you're given. Treat practice like it's a game. And so that's what Tom did. Tom, my bestie. That's what Tom did. And as his attitude and work ethic improved, so did his skills. Turns out they're related. And he learned to watch other great leaders. He loved the preparation, loved the practice, loved the leadership of it. And he was open to learning and curious about everything. I saw this similar situation play out in youth theater. Students who felt like they weren't being given the lead roles when they thought they deserved them. Many times over, I had to have the hard conversation with the students to remind them that by not being the lead this time, they had a unique opportunity that leads never get. If they were serious about their craft and wanting to grow as young performers, they would watch. They'd watch the directors and they'd listen to what they were trying to draw out of the stage actors in a scene. They'd be ready to take notes and hear the questions that strong lead actors were asking to get to character motivation and watch how they were getting in character in the wings. They'd use the opportunities with the ensemble in the green room to just practice leadership skills and grow in those skills, helping the younger students navigate the experience and just rise up to higher levels of responsibility, grow in servant leadership. Lead actors didn't get to do any of those things. They could only focus on themselves and their immediate stage partners. Can you see how Tom's winning mentality can also translate to your experience maybe as a trial attorney? Maybe you're in a firm where you're always second chair for cases. Maybe you've been waiting. Maybe you've been waiting a long time for your chance to lead a case instead of support the case. Have you made the most of your time with those responsibilities and those opportunities? Maybe it's even that you look to people outside your firm, some big shot attorneys, and you wonder why they get all the good cases. How is it that they get to waltz in at the late stage of prep and then run the show and get 8, 9-figure verdicts, one right after another? What about the people behind those verdicts and all the work they do, what you have done? Do you see how those moments are just another way of you getting shafted in the deal? Or do you lean into the learning and the curiosity? Do you, like Tom Brady, love the preparation, love the practice, love the leadership of it? Do you watch closely to how the jury responds to lead counsel and observe the relationships and interactions with opposing counsel? Do you draw lessons for yourself by being just a little bit on the outside looking in to glean as much as you can from the perspective that only you have? I just love how Brady kind of wraps up the interview segment with a bit of a mantra. I mean, I don't think he meant it to serve as that, but I thought it was a good quote. He said, "Work hard, have humility, have self-awareness, and know you can do better." That's a winning mentality. You know what I hate? Being misunderstood. It's actually one of my biggest fears, if I'm honest, right up there with birds. Yes, I'm afraid of birds. Leave me alone about it already. Being misunderstood is just the worst, though. Trying to communicate something and seeing that it's just not landing the way you intend. A too harsh of tone with your kid or spouse that ended up setting them off. A thinking face that got interpreted as annoyance or irritation and ended up shutting down the conversation and leaving you baffled. It's so frustrating in our personal lives, but in the courtroom, your mismatched communication profile could break your case and lose you a deserving verdict. So, I've created a free guide to get you thinking about the emotional profiles you create. It's a printable guide to help you 10x your communication impact by mastering 6 emotional profiles for clear and authentic connection. I break down the 6 core emotions: happy, sad, love, pride, anger, and fear by giving you face, body, and breathing cues. Plus, I show you exactly which point on a 1 to 10 scale you should be with your pitch, pace, melody, volume, and tone in order to authentically capture the center of that core emotion. The link to get your free guide is in the show notes or by simply going to my website, fostervoicestudio.com. Don't wait to clear up your part of miscommunication and misunderstandings. Get your free download today. I realize that I may have a more refined ear than many. I don't mean to be persnickety, and honestly, people don't know I'm being persnickety most of the time. But I'm just really attuned to how people speak and how their speaking affects me. My ability to learn from them, yes, but also how their speaking affects my mood. Am I sensitive and reactive? Maybe. But you have to know that I'm not the only one who is affected by how people speak. I maybe just am able to articulate why I'm bothered better than most. So, here are 2 things, well, maybe there's more than 2, but I'm focusing on just 2 today. There are 2 things that affect me as a listener, and they both have to do with melody. This first one, you'll probably be quick to say, oh yeah, that's me. It's monotone speaking, and I hear a lot of attorneys heap self-judgment and claim to be monotone. Now, here's a disclaimer. You're not really monotone. Actually, being monotone is a physiological and/or neurological condition called dysprosody. Dysprosody is a speech disorder that directly impacts pitch, intonation, the rhythm of speech, which then makes the voice sound mechanical or flat. That's probably not you. You might be someone who is limited only because of habits. You're not physically incapable. You just don't have varied melody as your default. And I get it. You're talking about very serious, important things. And so you use your serious and very important voice. Hear how it's now sounding a bit more monotone. But you're probably also not aware of it, nor are you aware of how a prolonged flat voice fatigues your audience, jurors in your case, and makes them just tune out just when you need them to be most engaged. You need to increase your melody. Now, I'm not asking you to be all sing-songy. No one wants you channeling your inner Disney princess in opening statement, okay? But you'll be amazed at how subtle melodic shifts can elevate your presentation, infuse more clarity and meaning into your key points, and keep your jury attentive. The second thing that has a profound effect on my ability to listen and really hear a presenter is vocal patterns. Even for people that I want to be listening to, if they lock into a certain vocal pattern where their melody gets stuck, I just really struggle to stay with them for the duration. There are 2 social media folks that I follow. Well, I follow a lot more than that. But these 2 I want to tell you about. There's a food vlogger who has creative, healthy recipes that look appealing to me, but he has a repeated vocal pattern using only descending melody. This is my high-protein, low-carb salad that takes less than 5 minutes to make. First, you're going to prep all the veggies. I like to include cucumber, tomato, red onion, and apple for some sweetness. Hear how everything goes down. Everything lands on the same pitch. I tell you, it's a good thing he only does 90 seconds or less short form videos, because I couldn't stand to listen to any more than that. I want the recipes, but that constant descending melody always landing in the same spot. It fatigues me. Now, on the flip side, I follow a van life influencer. I don't know, maybe a little part of me thinks I could do van life. I absolutely could not do van life. For the record, just remind me of that. Anyway, I follow this van life influencer, and she tends to speak only in ascending melodies. I live in a van and haven't had a permanent home for almost 4 years. And recently I decided I wanted a home to plan my travels out of. These are the things that I'm most excited about, having a home base and not being on the road full time. Hear how every phrase goes up and again landing on the same pitch. These are the people I want to follow. I want to consume their content. I purposefully seek them out online, even though they fatigue my ability to listen to them for any longer than the post allows. So at least it's short form content. You are not creating short form content. You are creating very long form content. And in our current modern way of consuming information and attention span deficits, your repetitive vocal melodies place additional demands on attention and processing. You've got to first create more shape to your melody. And then you also need to listen for repetitive patterns that might be sabotaging you. And of course, it's hard to hear all that for yourself. It's hard to be self-aware when you're in presentation mode. You need feedback, and you need to practice in a way that builds new muscle memory and new neural pathways for new habit formation that's more animated and engaging. I'm happy to help you. I feel confident I can help you. So just start with a free vocal snapshot session, just to determine if limited melody and or overly repetitive melodic patterns are a problem for you. I'll tell you the truth in a loving way, and I'll make it fun, but I'll tell you the truth. If you want to grab a free session spot, I've put the sign up link in the show notes. Don't go into your next trial wondering if you've accidentally turned off your jurors' ability to listen and learn from you. Let's just fix it quick. Get on my calendar, and until next time, keep fostering your voice. Thanks for pulling up a seat with me today and for being part of the Foster fam. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. And while you're at it, go ahead and leave a review or a comment so I can give you a shout out on a future episode. During the week, you can find me on Instagram at Foster Voice Studio, where I'm dropping little nuggets of vocal technique and leadership wisdom. You can also join my mailing list by visiting fostervoicestudio.com or by clicking the link in the show notes. I'll send a weekly vocal tip every Tuesday directly to your inbox. Until then, keep fostering your voice.